Well, hello, and you find me back in Norwich at MOONRAKER Motorcycles, and today I am on the Benelli 702 low seat. Now I call it the low seat, but in actual fact it's technically the standard seat, but it's the standard seat of the road going version, just the 702, not the 702X. Now if you remember, a while ago I did the 702X, and that bike was great. And if you want to see the review, you can have a look up here in the left hand corner, up there, and then pop along to the link in the description below and you can see that video. This bike is pretty much the same. It's definitely the same in terms of engine and power, so I'm not going to run through all the specs per se. I'm going to stick them up on the side of the screen now. So hopefully you've had enough time to have a look at that. If not, really, shorts, t-shirt. If not, pause it and have a look again. But yes, there's the specifications, and I am on this because they came out about the same sort of time. The problem is they sold really quickly, to the state where they never had a demo. Oh my god. And on top of that, they never had one available for anyone to ride. Oh yeah, you're just going to come in now, are you? Alright, okay. Cars. I have to tell you, I was nearly knocked off twice coming in on my Triumph today. Once I came away from the train level crossing, pulled away, and the queue was on the right hand side, and there was a guy parked on the left in a junction waiting to come out and turn right. The guy behind him wanted to go left, so rather than wait, he went out around the outside onto the main road to turn left. Didn't look right as I was coming up the road, and I nearly went in the side of him. I gave him the good old blast on the throttle. Never even looked at me. Utter, let's call it family friendly, dingleberry. And then sitting at 60 miles an hour, coming along the main road, and there was a woman sitting at the junction on the right hand side, and I could see her. There was nothing behind me, nothing in front of me, and as I was approaching I could see her, and I thought, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. She never moved until I was about 30 meters away, and then she pulled out, and if I hadn't have swerved to the right and gone round her, I'd have hit her. Again, she got a blast on the throttle and then looked at me as if I was the one in the wrong. Absolutely phenomenal. But anyway, back to this bike. I do digress. Nice hill start there. So yeah, this is the Benelli 702 standard seat, but I call it the low seat. And the reason I call it the low seat is because it is 790 millimeters. Now that is 45 millimeters lower than the 702X, which is 835 millimeters. I'll show you when I stop in a minute and have a look around this bike just how low that is. It's also got smaller wheels than the 702X, so again I shall run through that and show you a side view when I stop in a minute. I forgot about this 20 mile an hour zone. Let's see how it fares at 20 in third. Yeah, great. Right, okay, so I'll see you the other side of this and we'll talk more. Now, even though this is the same bike underneath as the 702X, it is very different in terms of how it rides. Whereas with the 702X you are very much sitting on the bike, this one you are definitely sitting in it, and that's because the bike itself is still large, but the seat height is only at 790 millimeters, and that makes a massive difference, because then your handling is different, because you're handling it from a different point of view. You're not sort of up here handling a bike sitting down on it, you're sitting in it, and you're very much within this area. And yeah, I think it handles a lot nicer. Obviously you've got the road tyres on here as well, not the off-road tyres. Smaller wheels, so it turns in a bit quicker, and it's very flickable, and it feels very, very light. It doesn't feel cumbersome in any way whatsoever. It feels really manageable. Even in terms of pushing it around, it's very manageable, because obviously your legs are that much more on the road. Does that make sense? Your feet are that much more on the road because you're not high up, you're not on tiptoes. The balance of the bike is not up here, it's down there, and yeah, it makes a massive difference in terms of how it rides. You've still got a commanding presence, so your handlebars are right in front of you here. You've got all your switch gears doing their usual thing. Great visibility of the dash. Visibility out of the mirrors, superb. I've got about 95% visibility, absolutely fantastic. And mind the bus, thank you very much. Excuse me, don't mind me coming through, thank you very much. And yeah, it just feels much nicer to ride. As a daily commuter, I'd be much happier on this than I would on the X, I feel. And that's simply because it's just feels more comfortable and simpler to use. In a second we'll get out on the faster stuff and see what it's like in terms of balance. My legs are pretty much at a right angle sitting on here. My leg is flat here and then going down pretty much a right angle. The tank is still sort of in your presence. I like these handguards, they're very nice and sturdy as well. They're good quality handguards there. The same TRK grips. You've got your dash that you can still use, but just not whilst you're riding by the looks of it. Let's have a look. Hold enter, see what happens. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, it looks like it's all when you're stationary. But you've got hazard flashes on here as well, indicators, horn, lights, unbelievably light clutch. I mean, this is my little finger. That's unbelievable. Very light clutch there. A decent little screen which seems to do the job. I've got no buffeting at this sort of speed, but obviously we'll test that out properly on the dual carriageway. I can change gear without the clutch going up, not going down. That's just the synchro mesh working well there. But yeah, a very pleasant, enjoyable ride. So as we approach the dual carriageway, let's see how it fares. It is quite a blustery day today as well. Quite blustery indeed. Very, very light clutch. So even a child could do it as long as they could stretch. Okay, the test, how does it feel on a decent run? In third gear, going this roundabout in third at 30 miles an hour. Nicely held, feels very nicely balanced, and away we go. Yep, very easy. I've now got a headwind and I'm not being blown around at all. I've got no buffeting. I've got a little bit of wind hitting my chest, obviously, because it's windy, but it's not rattling me from side to side. My head is not rattling about. That screen seems to be doing a pretty decent job of keeping the wind away from me. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to be quite buffety. Go back down the other side. Very easy to ride. Handles the corners really nicely. These tyres are doing a great job. Yeah, great, absolutely great. No dramas there whatsoever. Very pleasurable. Sitting here at 70, I'm yeah, very comfortable. Nothing behind me, don't worry, I'm not holding anybody up. Very nice indeed. Well, that's a lot better than I expected, to be fair. Let's go out into the country and try some twistier bits. Nice simple gear change, very easy to use throttle, very easy to use gear lever, and a very light clutch. Great little bike. I say little, it's a 700cc. Very manageable. I've got no sort of jerking on the throttle. I like how it turns into the corners. Yeah. It's quite quiet as well. It's a nice little commuter. Obviously, if you like quiet bikes, as you know, I like loud and angry and brash bikes. But it's very pleasant. If I was to have one downside, I would say holding it at 60 on bumpy roads, the throttle does make it not lurch, but there's a tiny bit of like that. But I would get that on my Triumph, to be fair, because it's just your natural movement of your hand doing that on the throttle as you're going over bumps. It's not horrendous and it's not off-putting, I'll say that. It's just wafting along here, very comfortably seated. Well, there are quite a few bumps and the suspension is taking it absolutely perfectly. Great brakes, very good brakes. As I say, in terms of ride and performance, it's very much on par with the X, but just a very different ride, because you just feel more relaxed and comfortable in it. Really nice soft seat, and everything is just nice about it. It's there's a 60 sign there, believe me, but it is just a nice, comfy, all-rounder ride. And if you're looking for a commuter and you're not a tall person, I mean, I would happily say someone 5'7", something like that, would easily be able to ride this. Obviously depends how big your inside leg is, but definitely go and sit on one at least. Very manageable, easy clutch, easy throttle, nice brakes, very comfortable, low seat, great visibility. What is there not to like about it? I like this colour as well. This green is nice. They do it in a nice white as well, which looks good. So far been pretty much straight road, but let's try this. Yeah, into the bend very simply. Flicks the other way very nicely. Great. Yeah, no problems there. Very nice to ride. Right then, let's pull over and have a good look round. But first of all, some more twisties. Oh, even that, there's a big bump in the road there and it just sort of wafted over it really well. Suspension does a great job. Yeah, very nice, very simple. Brilliant brakes, and that's only the front brake. may will have noticed this is quite a different style of video that I usually do, and that's because this bike, the Benelli 702, has been out for a while. It came out the same sort of time as the 702X, but they sold really quickly and there hasn't been many around. So now I've grabbed hold of a low seat, I thought I'd do a quick ride video to show the differences. And you can see, as I say, pop along to my other video and you can have a look at the 702X full review, which I did against the 502X to highlight the differences there. And this one, as I say, the 702 standard. So just from here, look, you can see, if you look at that bike, how low that seat is in comparison to the rest of the bike. And it does make a massive difference. You've got Pirelli tyres on there as well, and they are 17-inch wheel on the back, diamond cut by the looks of that, very nice, and diamond cut front wheel, and you've got 17-inch on the front also. So 17-inch wheels front and back instead of the 18s or 19s, I forget which was on the X. You've still got that commanding front end. I like that. That great light arrangement. Looks really nice on there, doesn't it? Nice looking bike. That Italian flair that Benelli, again, for those of you that are commenting on that, and I did mention it in the other video, that is because this same body unit they are planning to use on the 800 TRK, and that is where the built-in camera will go. But I mean, look at the size of those forks. Nice chunky front forks. Look, great radial brakes, big double discs, which is why it stops so well. That nice, powerful enough engine. The rack on there, and this again does come with the 3 boxes at the moment. So grab yourself a bargain. I really like it. As I said when I was riding, I much prefer the ride of this than the 702X, and I liked the 702X, but this just feels, I don't want to say lazier, but nicer. An all-round nicer ride. So get yourself on one, because it's well worth a ride at least, and see how you feel. Now what I'm going to do is show you me sitting on the bike so you can gauge, I'll use the 360 camera so you can gauge what I'm like as a 5'10.5" person with a 31.5-inch inside leg sitting on it. So stay tuned for that. And then I'll be back with my stunt driving and my rally driving, so stay tuned for that also, just to see how I get on. You may have noticed as well in my last little snippet video, I did a quick walk round first look at the new Royal Enfield Gorilla, 450 Gorilla. I absolutely love the look of that. It only just arrived, so whilst I was out filming this, which is coming out after that because I wanted to highlight that quickly, they are setting up a demo, or they're getting a demo bike in, which I shall be riding next week. Unfortunately, because I've got to go away for a couple of days, that's going to have to wait. But there you go. So yes, here it is, the 702, I want to call it low seat. So thank you very much for watching. I'll be back next time with something else. Well, you know what's coming, I've just told you. So until next time, please ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye-bye.